and well. We go to roll call, please. Mahogany.
So your mic was muted. So what you said previously, they didn't hear. If you want to repeat that real quick.
The whole thing? Okay.
Yes.
Welcome to the March commission meeting. Before we get into roll call, Ron Barr announced his resignation from the commission via email earlier this week. We thank him for his service and wish him well. So with that, can we do roll call?
Commissioner Ben France.
Here.
Commissioner James Firstel.
Here.
Commissioner Samuel Ellis. He's here. Commissioner Cannon Fletcher.
Present.
Commissioner Mike Bernardo.
Here.
Commissioner Summer Campbell.
Here.
Commissioner Shamia Woods.
Here.
Commissioner Quincy Grant. Commissioner Quentin Whiteside.
Here.
City Director Cappy Peck.
Here.
City Director Andrea Lewis. City Attorney Simone Blagg.
Here.
It's like we have quorum.
8 commissioners are present.
Thank you. Okay. Can we get approval of January and February meeting minutes? Since we didn't have quorum last month in February, we had to approve both the January and February. So can I get a motion to approve both January and February meeting minutes?
Yes, motion to approve.
Motion by Summer Campbell. Can I get a second? Second by Sam. All right. Oh, can we vote? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Minutes have been approved. The next agenda item is citizen communication. Do we have any citizens here that would like to communicate? Jill. No. I don't think we have any citizen communication. Okay, the next agenda item is staff reports, director's reports, and events. In your packet, as they always do, they sent over the meeting, their reports that for this past month. If you have any questions, I know Justin created some pictures which are pretty cool, and then so yeah, any I guess let me hand over to you, Leland, to talk about that. But any questions on any of the reports that's in your packet?
I saw that they hired someone new at Resmond Golf. Is it fully staffed?
I was going to speak to that. If, yeah, I'll get to that and then I'd cover that, but I kind of have an agenda I'd like to roll through. And if I don't answer your question, yeah.
Sounds good.
Any comments, questions on the staff reports before I turn it over to Leland?
What is the operation impact? And I may just be forgetting it. Justin, you mentioned it on the last item on your report. Is that something we come to, or what is the community, or?
Yeah, certainly welcome to. Operation Impact is just something the Operation Division does. Try to do 3 to 4 a year. It's where we basically pull all our different groups, urban forestry, maintenance support, construction crews, and try to spend really focused 2 to 3 days in one park, and it's something that we can publicize and push out on social media, just to help us make a bigger impact all at once.
Yes.
Good afternoon. I would like to announce two exciting new events coming up. First, we are having a tree planting event, our first tree planting event in Rock Creek Trail on April 5th. The KKAC, a local nonprofit focused on agriculture in the state, has received a grant from the U.S. Forestry Service Department for thousands and thousands of trees that we're going to work on replanting over the year. But on April 5th, we are specifically planting 12,000 oak saplings. This is a perfect event for family because they're so small. Children can come and dig a little hole with a trowel and pop a tree in. So please come out that day. We'd love to have you. It starts at 9 at the trailhead behind the Comet Cleaners, and we are serving lunch. And then I announced this last time, but I want to say it again, that on April 26th, we are closing out National Volunteer Week with Impact the Rock, which is the city's day of service. We have a project in every single ward, and we are having the kickoff in Reservoir Park. And this is our first post-tornado event. And we are planting trees, we are seeding and strawing and spreading mulch, and as always, picking up litter. That also is at 9 a.m., and we will be serving lunch. So please, I hope you can make it out today, on those 2 days. Thanks.
Thank you.
I had another question. Justin, on your report, there's a Reservoir Epic Playground on Reservoir Park. Where is that? Like, I mean, I know where Reservoir Park is, but is it like this is going to be like by the softball fields used to be, or the softball fields going away? Like, how does that work? I know there was another playground equipment there that was damaged in the tornado, I
Yeah,
believe.
the old playground had to be completely removed. It was damaged. This is the new concept playground that we're in the process of trying to get ordered. It is customizable, which I think is really, really neat. We kind of going with, that's not the final color scheme or anything, but trying to go work with CAW on a really neat concept. It is customizable in that it'll say Reservoir Park and some other really neat things. We've are in the process of contracting with Cromwell Architects to site locate and do some final surveys to exactly place. But it'll be somewhere in the area, probably just to the north of that same parking lot where the old one was. But we don't have exact located yet.
Thank you.
Any other questions for our staff before I hand it over to Leland for his report? All right. Leland?
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to share a handful of things. In front of you is your personal copy of our 5-year strategic plan. And I would encourage everybody to take that home and read that. And then hopefully we can have some further conversations next month. But it's an exhaustive kind of visionary plan of what the department sees as important, and gives a brief understanding of timeline for what our plans are for going forward. And so this board here could definitely advise us on which ones are more important or which ones are less important in terms of timing, or it's always open for continual revisement as well. In terms of my report, I always wanted to share what I've taken to the board. Just recently, I took the War Memorial Playground improvements. It was $100,000. It was in between meetings here, but that was on the agenda last night, and will be hopefully approved next week. And then future items to go to the agenda for the board to consider our new fleet for Reservoir Golf Course and First Tee Golf Course. We have some bond funds for that. And staff can give more reports on that if as needed. And then for Reservoir, we just mentioned some of the playground improvements. So we have a board communication for the playground. I believe it's roughly an $800,000 project. And then there's also some design professional consultant item that we're taking to the board as well. Those are the top of mind items. If staff here has any others that I might be missing, please let me know. I also wanted to bring up that we had a very successful marathon event. Was it been 2 weeks now? Time flies. I actually participated in it and got a different point of view. Did the kids rockers and the 5K, and hopefully we'll do more. I encourage everybody to participate, but I always want to say thank you to all the volunteers and all the staff that did so many hours of work. I mean, I know every staff member around this table here had a ton of work in it, and late hours that a lot of people don't get credit for. So I do appreciate that. And also for all of our security for Little Rock PD and just everybody that was involved, and Michael Garrity and Geneva Lamb, who are our directors for our marathon, thank them. So those cover all of our things. I think Karen covered, did you cover the April 26th event? Okay, so the additional event, and I'm sure Cappy would like to speak to this. Would you like me to save?
I'm not sick, but my allergies are like on steroids, so I'm doing this to catch snot, basically. Sorry. One thing I would ask Karen is if you could identify the other areas where we will have the impact of event. I know it's going to kick off in Reservoir. What are the other 6 areas?
In Ward 1, we have the downtown Little Rock streets. We are partnering with Downtown Little Rock Partnership on that aspect. In Ward 2, it's Benny Craig Park, Fish Creek. We are partnering with Audubon Delta and Central Arkansas Master Naturalist, and they will be there with canoes. You can get into the water and pull litter out of there as well as on land. Ward 3 is Wild Wine Zoo event. Ward 4 is the kickoff at Reservoir, which I talked about. Ward 5 is Rock Creek Trail, and we will be planting 100 more trees as well as cleaning up the area. Ward 6 is Canis Road, and our sustainability office will be there at Datamax to check volunteers in and pick up litter off that road. And then Ward 7 is the Animal Village.
I see it now right here in front of me in print. Thank you.
No problem.
Could I mention now about May 21st?
That's exactly, yes.
So Reservoir Park, a beloved park in Ward 4, received a lot of damage. I'm so excited that we're going to focus there at Impact the Rock Day. But in talking to Leland and some other constituents and people that don't even live in my ward but live nearby Reservoir Park, there's been a lot of public interest in a fundraiser for Reservoir. So Leland and I have set the date of May 21st. It's going to be at Trios, which is right next door to Reservoir. I'm happy to donate the food in the bar. We have a private dining room. We're going to push this out. And really, this was brought to me as an idea from people that live in Foxcroft and the Ridge. It's the closest park for them and their kids. And I think we can raise a considerable amount of money. So I hope everybody will put this on their calendar. It's going to be 5 to 7, May 21st, and Trios Private Dining Room, which is hopefully we will be finished with our tornado recovery and there won't be scaffolding everywhere. But I would really encourage you all to come and help us raise money for Reservoir.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I would encourage everybody here, all the board members as well as our conservancy to be a part of that. Thank you so much. I did want to mention one other thing that we did apply, the department did apply for a CPRG grant through MetroPlan for War Memorial Park. I can go into more details of that next month if we want to report on that. but that was I think it was almost like a $3 million ask for us. And we also supported the Rose Creek initiative, which is in Rose Creek Park, but the Rose Creek Initiative, which is a group that is supportive of that location, actually did an application and applied, and then we had to agree to that and support that. So that each of those right now are more environmentally focused on the carbon footprint, all these different things. And so they're really focused on trees, the creeks, the green space, property, all kinds of different things. So that's an exciting item for War Memorial if we can get that. And then there's an additional grant coming this in the next couple of months where we can add infrastructure to that on top of that. So we would be looking at trail infrastructure at War Memorial and trail infrastructure for Rose Creek Trail, which I know many of y'all have heard us speak to that. Anyway, I would like to move on to some exciting news, which is our employee news. We have 2 new staff, and they're listed here. And or one in there is Sue. I don't see Sue here, but she's not new. She's been here for on to 40 years. So I'm not going to mention much about her. She's just taken an interim role to fill one of our spots. But I'd like to start by introducing Michael Ingram. He's here in the blue, and I'd like him to introduce himself. And then right behind that, Graham Brown, which is over here on the right. If y'all would make your way to the podium just to give a few words. But I'd like to say Michael Ingram is our facility supervisor. He's been promoted from assistant facility supervisor at Resman Golf to the facility supervisor at Resman Golf. He has a long history in golf and merchandising and concessions, and I'll let him share that. But we've also, you asked about our fill out. So we do, his position or role is now vacant, obviously, as an assistant. So we've actually completed interviews on that, and I don't believe we're at the point of it where the other people have accepted, so I won't share their names. But we have picked out another candidate for that to fill that role, as well as some additional part-time help for some other candidates that we found through the process. So we're really excited about building out a new team to carry Resman Golf to the next level and continue its championship level there. And then Graham Brown, who will step up in a second. He's our new Parks Data and Marketing Coordinator. So he's taking over somewhat of the role of what Brittany used to do for us. But we modified that. I modified those positions. And so he's actually now in the process of hiring a social media position that will be under him. And that's how we change those things around. So I'll let him introduce and share a little bit about himself. But I'm excited that we have these new, Mike's not new, but we have this new direction in terms of our employees. So Mike.
Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone. I want to first voice that I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to lead Rebsamen Golf Course. I've had 2 years of service at Rebsamen Golf Course as the assistant, during which time we've done tremendous strides as far as increasing revenue. Looking forward to this year to expanding on some of the improvements we've made over the past 2 years, but also expanding further into not just revenue focused items, but to quality of life items for our golfers. In the past, Rebsamen has hosted the Parks Commission Golf Tournament, but unfortunately in the year of 2024, we did not. I'd like to invite, on behalf of Rebsamen Golf Course, the Parks Commission to return and have their fundraising golf tournament. I believe this tournament is a great opportunity for the Parks Commission to raise funds and for the commission and the public to experience one of the facilities that the Parks Commission supports. So with that being said, I would enjoy if you guys could come back out again and we could have that tournament for you all. That's all I've got.
Hey, have you thought about, I know it was a couple years ago, it was in May of 2023, and I know a previous commission member kind of led it as far as getting teams. And I think the commission members can help gathering teams, but as far as logistics and food and all that, is that something that you could do? What would you want specifically the commission? I think we all know a lot of people in Little Rock and can help put together teams. And for the commission members that weren't there, this isn't a huge tournament. I mean, I think we had maybe 15, 20 teams a couple years ago, but it does raise money for the Courage Conservancy, which actually, no, actually raises money for the summer playground summer
Yeah.
playground program outings that they have to go to. So it is important, and I'm very supportive of helping out. We just might need some guidance of what you need from us, just because we're all working full-time jobs and we want to make sure we kind of use our time wisely and effectively. So
Absolutely. So I would love to partner with the commissioners to get this tournament off the ground and running. For food and other items, we have our parks concession supervisor, Eileen Davis, is new to that role. She's been handling a lot of the catering items. So as far as catering goes, we can handle that on our end at Rebsamen. So as far as building teams and whatnot, we have several tournaments at Rebsamen that I direct that are fundraiser tournaments that we put on. So I utilize some of the marketing tactics that we have in order to try to gather some teams for the commission tournament.
Mike, how about you and me maybe meet offline, and then what I gather from you, I can send as an email to the rest of the commission members of what we've gathered. I think it might be easier. So I'll exchange contacts after the meeting, and I can come down to Rebsamen and meet with you and figure out dates and just all logistics of it and what we can do. But I'm supportive of it. I don't know if any commission members have any other opinions about it, but it is for a good cause for the summer playground program. So it helps provide like field trips and ice cream and cool things for the kids through the summer playground program. That's what it provides for. So with that, let's for sure meet online. I'll meet afterwards, schedule some time to meet. But if any commission members have any opinions, please speak up.
I wanted to ask you about the players that are playing down there. Like, is it like I feel like the reputation that I feel like Rebsamen has right now is that it's really crowded. Do you think it's crowded, or is that just like something people are saying? Or
Unfortunately, we suffer from success. We are quite crowded, and that's because we have high attendance numbers. We're actually was the most attended city-owned golf course in the state. So frequently we are overcrowded because we are booking all of our tee times out. This year we've made an attempt to try to alleviate that stress by partnering with Miss Karen to get more volunteers that are to be marshaling to try to speed up the pace of play. We've also went away from 8-minute tee times to 10-minute tee times to try to alleviate a little bit of that overcrowdedness. Obviously we want revenue, but we also want to enjoy those that are utilizing our facility to have a good time while they're there.
Has there been any considerations about, I know we had the West 9. Is that still a thing? I haven't been down there in a while. Okay. Yeah. And played it. But if you had better resources to allocate, could that be alleviate some of the congestion? Like if that was actually like or like a real 9 instead of just like kind of a, side 9?
Yes, it could. And it's actually something that I've been partnering with Leland on. We are, for the bond money allocation for 2026, we're looking at resurfacing our greens. We would be resurfacing the West 9 greens as well, but it still would have the constraints of not having a full regulation golf course for the West 9. But if we have better quality greens, more likely people would be willing to utilize that side to actually get successful golf practice.
With that side 9 or West 9, whatever it's called. But I think it'd be cool to, soccer golf, put something else out there in addition to the other 9. I know Burns Park does that. We've been out there a few times. It's pretty nice.
Well, see, I disagree with that because I think that it would, if you had 27 holes, then he could move people around and it would move the play a lot faster. You see what I'm saying? So like people could go from 9 to 9 to 9. There's just different ways you could do it to alleviate the crowding and then get more people out there, right? Then generate more revenue. So that'd be the whole goal. So what are the constraints? Is it like the space?
So the West 9 golf course is an executive 9, which is not a full championship golf course. Mm-hmm. The West 9 doesn't have any par 5s. It only has par 3s and par 4s. So the length of the course isn't long enough to be a regulation course. So people, typically our clientele likes to golf on the championship course because it's more of a full-size golf course.
Is that just space limitations?
Space limitations, yes.
And who owns the rest of the space? Is it the parks or is that somebody else?
I'd love to speak to this just since you maybe directed that this way. These were a lot of the ideas that were shared in the sales tax initiative. We had over $10 million planned for Resmond Golf Course for improvements. Initially, previous sales tax initiatives did consider removing the back nine. In this last one, it was the exact opposite. We were really going to improve upon the back nine and look at what we could do to do other things there as well, to help with a lot of the things that you're concerned with. But, you know, that's not forgotten, and we'll hopefully be able to figure that out sometime in the future. We were able to set aside about $1.5 million in bond months for golf as a whole. We don't want to forget about our first tee golf course. And so that's what Mike was speaking to. We're doing a lot of improvements to try to help with things. But we are utilized quite, I mean, we have a ton of people down there, a ton of rounds. We try to organize it, and Mike is working to with his marshals, but also just understanding getting more part-time is one of the things that we just mentioned, is filling out our staff. Mike's been down there for how long on your own? About a year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot of ongoing things, but we've made a lot of large strides in the last couple of months trying to get these positions filled, putting some money towards that and understanding what our improvements are going to be with those months. Could we do more with the sales tax or some bigger funds? Absolutely. But we would appreciate your support. We're also working, he didn't mention this, but we're also working on our merchandising and our thing. I know that's small, but to walk in and not have merchandise on the walls was a huge thing that really was a miss for me. And so the board did support $60,000 additional out of, you know, millions of dollars worth of requests. We did get 60,000 for our golf course at Resmond's, and 30 of that's for merchandising for the pro shop, and 30 is for concessions, so that we can have a better experience. And we're looking at in the middle of rebranding our concessions right now. So new name, new menu, new ideas, because of Mike's background and because of Eileen Davis there, as well as just little things. As I said, all the signs there at the golf course are all so dated, and now, you know, just what can we do? So we have a sign package. We're updating all the signage. There's always more we can do down there, and we're limited in some aspects, but we're doing, I believe we're doing a lot trying with what we have. So all good conversation. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Graham?
Hello, my name is Graham Brown. I'm the new marketing and data coordinator. Super thankful to be in this role, excited to get started. I think we have a lot to build off of with what Brittany did. My experience is project manager for a couple different marketing agencies the past few years, and prior to that, social media manager for a couple different companies. So I'm going to use that experience to improve our social media profiles and reach residents in different ways, such as flyers and different things. And then on the data side of things, I'm going to be looking at and analyzing all the things that various divisions are doing and finding ways to collect and analyze that to just improve all across the department.
This is going to sound random, but it'd be really nice if on the Parks and Rec website there, and it's going to sound funny, but an AI chatbot that actually had all the parks and what you could do, so that someone can say, I want to play, I don't know, pickleball, right? And it tells you, you know, where are you at, or here's the 5 parks that do it. I mean, some of that basic, if I know we have that data, that would be a really, I would think, simple plug and play, because some of that on the website, it's hard to even find at the rec centers who has youth basketball, who doesn't, or what times, or just some of that fed into a simple chatbot for $20 a month and put it on a website would be huge.
I know the city is coming out with their new AI assistant.
Gotcha.
I can look into if we can also, I'm not sure how far that'll go into the site. I assume we could probably get access to that as well and do some things with our site.
Okay. It's just, I've been using it more and more in different non-business, but other things I work on the side. And it's when you guys have a database like you do,
Mhm.
and even these updates feed so much information, that's a great way for people to even be able to query it, like what's going on or what's new, and, get those kind of answers.
Yeah, we'll definitely look to do something like that in the next couple of years.
Anything else for Graham? Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all giving us some more background. Look forward to working with you all. Okay. Next agenda item is presentations. I don't think we have any today. We have a pretty full slate of new business, so probably a good thing we don't have any presentation just for the sake of time. I'm going to go on to unfinished business. I will start with JT on the subcommittee for the master plan. Looks like y'all met today.
We did. Had a good meeting. Our plan for next month is to come up with a list of priorities and action items to present to this body. That's going to include prioritizing mainly what we think is going to give us the biggest bang for our buck with limited resources. So look forward to that. It will, of course, incorporate the items in the 5-year strategic plan. So we're going to digest this document as well, and make sure that, any suggestions we come up with are in line with this plan. A couple of things we did want to request. Anna, did you want to go over that list of?
Yeah, sure. And I think Mahogany would have access to most of it. But it's the strategic plan. If we can get a digital copy, it would be great. But then also we discussed the indoor-outdoor facility that was looked at for War Memorial as far as like a youth sports complex. If we can get some of the background in a digital format on that. And then also any of the Parks and Rec or Little Rock Convention Visitor Bureau reports that have been like the last year or two that are sort of helpful to this aim in a digital format, just so we have them and can sort of go through them. And any of the consulting reports that supported the sales tax proposal related to Parks and Rec would be helpful, just so we can start trying to get our arms around that data.
Hey, Cannon, can I confirm that with you? You had the strategic plan, then a War Memorial, which one?
Well, that's more on that sales tax report, just any of the consulting reports that were sort of supporting
Right, okay.
War Memorial, any of the other like
Yeah.
bigger projects that were part of that sales
Okay.
tax movement. And then
Yeah, I
I
was gonna say,
think,
because we got away from War Memorial for the indoor-outdoor, so.
right, it moved to East Little Rock or
Yes.
adjacent to
Well,
President Clinton, right?
But the previous stuff on War Memorial, I think, would be helpful too, if that's going to be part of our discussion, whether that was part of the sales tax or not.
Fair enough, we can, from previous years, sure.
I think it just helps us get a decent, even working knowledge or baseline of like, if someone said, hey, let's do 10 fields, what was the budget or, swag on what that would cost? I mean, just to sort of get in our
Yes,
heads.
yes,
So-
gotcha. Thank you.
All right. Next one is Sam, anything on the Parks Conservancy?
So our subcommittee has not met yet, but I did get to talk with their secretary and of course like Stacy Hurst about their meetings. I did not get to make it to their last meeting. That was March 5th, but I did have their meeting notes. We're gonna start planning to attend these meetings so that we can not just be handing notes back and forth, but also be there in person. And from what I understand about the meeting on March 5th, I think Cappy had the biggest new business that she's already talked about. So as far as our subcommittee, we will be getting together and starting to figure out when and who we can go to these meetings and take turns or see how we can make that work. But their next meeting is April 2nd. So we plan, or I plan at least to be there. So
Where is
we
it?
can-
Where are they held at?
I'm not sure yet.
Different places.
It moves.
A lot of times they'll meet at Trios. If nobody's in the private room, I just let them use that room.
Hence why I'll be attending on April 2nd for the trios, you know.
Well, then I'll make sure the room is available.
But we plan to start getting more involved with those actual meetings instead of just talking about their own meeting notes.
Thanks, Sam. All right, marketing, Quentin?
No report this month, but we do plan to meet with Graham, as we just heard, this coming month and work with him to get something going.
Okay. I think the rest of the unfinished business topics are going to be discussed in new business. So if everyone's okay with that, I'm just going to go straight to new business, if that's okay. Okay. I don't see anything opposed. Okay. So news business, we have, 7 to 8 bullet points. I think the first and third ones I want to talk about right now is, I brought this up, I guess, in January and February as well, about having a chance for us to go as a commission and go meet at some of the facilities across the parks. I was thinking quarterly, but I was thinking since it's already March, maybe just meet 3 times in 2025. And it's more just a awareness and social outing. And so I've put together 3 dates in 3 locations and I want to just kind of go over this. And I know not everyone can make it, but I was thinking we can combine awareness and social. So I would like to vote on these 3 dates and locations as follows. So April 24th, we would meet. I'm trying to do it on Thursdays in the kind of afternoon, evening. April 24th at MacArthur Park, just to learn more about that park and learn about all the surrounding areas, but then maybe go to AMFA and maybe just have some drinks there, cocktails, snacks. So that's the first date that I had in mind.
Time.
Oh, I was thinking 4 p.m. Would that be okay with everybody? Or we can make it 5 if that's better. But like I said, it's gonna be hard to get 8, 9 people to agree on dates. So I'm just picking these dates out and hopefully you guys vote on them. So that's the first one. July 10th would be another Thursday, and I was deciding I want to go and look at the Summer Playground program. And so that would be either at South Central or at Southwest or West Central is what I was thinking. I'm kind of thinking West Central just to see the status of the ball field that's being updated and rebuilt. So West Central for July 10th and October 9th, Boyle Park, just to kind of see everything that's been going on at Boyle Park. So those are the 3 dates. So April 24th, MacArthur Park, July 10th, West Central at 4 p.m., October 9th, Boyle Park at 4 p.m. We don't have any, I was going to go ahead and vote. Are there any discussions about these before we put this to a vote?
Not so much discussion, just keep top of mind. It would be ideal if maybe Quentin and I could be there, unless you guys are going to commit to getting yourselves photos and video so we can post it on social just to humanize us a bit.
I'm all for that.
Okay, perfect. Well, vote on.
Okay. All those in favor of the dates and locations that I provided, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, so we have April 24th at MacArthur Park, July 10th at West Central, and October 9th at Boyle Park. Thank you all. So that covers the first and third bullets. The second bullets is part of the bylaws, and Simone, I just want to make sure I understand this, is we have to present to the Little Rock Board of Directors a year in review. I know it's already March, so I would like to go ahead and vote on the actual presentation. And I apologize, I was very late and I sent it out last night. And I know Kenny, you had some edits I saw in the email, so I do appreciate that. Can we get that pulled up, Mahogany? And I'm gonna add pictures and make it look nicer. I just wanted to get the actual copy on there. But I needed y'all's help if to fill up any information, so. So I know that looks bad right now, but I'll change the font on that. I'm not sure what's going on, but this is just, your commission members. The next 3 or 4 slides.
And I just,
Yeah,
you're on the slide, there's an N after.
yeah.
On my name. Thank you.
It was 11 p.m. last night, so yeah. I'll make that change, Mike. Thanks, man. I guess we can take Ron out as well. Next slide. The next 3 or 4 slides is just from the bylaws, just talks about responsibilities of the commission. So this, of course, will be presented to the commission at one of the board directors meetings. And then if you go, Mahogany, to the first, no, you keep on going. You're good. You're good. So, I'll go back. So, the first one is subcommittees formed in our meeting. And I know Cannon, it needs to be marketing, so I'll get that changed.
I think conservancy is spelled wrong too. Am I mistaken?
It is.
It's 11 p.m. last night. Thank you. All right. Yeah, we'll get all the spelling changed. And then, so Simone, can we vote on it with the expected changes that need to be made?
Yes,
So
but we'll need a motion.
to vote.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just go through the rest of the slides and then we can vote. Mahogany, you can go to the next slide. So this is where I'll discuss each subcommittee to the board. Sales tax efforts. I know it didn't pass, but I think the commission was very active in the sales tax, social media support. I know a couple of our commission members spoke at the Little Rock Board Directors meeting in support of the sales tax, and we wrote a letter. Let's talk about that. Next slide, please. Canis Park improvements. So any additions? I just was taking this really from the online of all that. So, hey, Simone, could they potentially, so Canon sent me edits via email. Can we vote on it today and then I can make edits from the emails I'm getting and then I can be?
If you're getting comments via email, they need to be referenced today in the meeting in order for them to go and be.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so there was an email from Canon that I'll change what he said, what he's included, and I appreciate Canon putting that together. If nothing on Canis Park, let's go to the next slide.
I think the one thing on Canis,
Go ahead.
Could you read Cannon's changes for us, please?
Oh, okay. So we talked about on the subcommittees formed, making it marketing instead of market. Then I'll change the conservancy to be spelled right. Number 2 is making the colors all consistent. And then we can talk, then let's go now. Let's stay on Canis for you, Cannon.
so in my wording will be awful, and Leland can probably help me with this, or maybe another commission member, but Canis Park, I think one of the things we spoke about in the last few months was how that was and I think you said it at the opening, that it was like there was federal money, there was state money, there was local, there was all kinds of funds that have gone into that park, upgrading the playground, doing the bridge, doing the basketball, I mean, just various components. And I think that was one of those things in my head to highlight on here, that that park is sort of there's a lot of hands in there helping that park and helping rebuild the park and various aspects of it. I don't know if it's worth showing on here, but I think it's powerful nonetheless. I mean, just to see the various buckets that sort of went into fixing the park.
I would like to make a suggestion then, instead of calling it Canis Park Improvements, which makes it feel like a very, we're showing a slide about just one part project and where we did an improvement, is maybe something where if the commission agreed, it says Canis Park, something more to what you just said, like you're talking about. We talked about Canis Park in general, of how impactful it is, to compare that to other parks and how it's been successful and how can we utilize that to be successful somewhere else. So maybe it's not Canis Park Improvements, it's Canis Park. Somebody fill in that blank, but.
Canis
So
Park
maybe-
impact.
Maybe title it like a success story and then say, Canis Park as an example, instead of making it's still focusing on Canis Park, but it really be focusing on, it's a model of success based on the different improvements you made out there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Something to that degree, to say, wow, if we could achieve what we did, over the last 5 years at Canis Park and XYZ Park, wouldn't that be great? And how did we achieve that? Well, we had influx of capital dollars from the board for this, and from the mayor for this, and grants for that, and this, and we got a lot of different user groups, and the commission has been greatly supportive and been on board of all this. And that story, if that could be the story for this slide. But again, I want y'all to have this as y'all's
Success or a
story.
blueprint or something, to that effect. And then one of the things, and tell me if I'm wrong, Cappy, but I mean, Leland, you can help color in the real numbers, but there was only X amount of city funds actually utilized, right? Or city operating budget utilized in that 5-year process versus some grant money from this or
Yes.
ARPA funds from that, how a small seed from the city helped,
Majority of all the funds were grant funds, as well as privately raised funds for pickleball, for the lights there. And even for the Canis, the last bit for the basketball there were some federal funds for the roadway improvement. So definitely some big money from the city as well, but majority of it was grants over the years for all the different amenities in the park.
Excuse me. It sounds like we're going to have some pretty substantial changes are going to be made. And it looks like the next board meeting that we could get placed on the agenda for is the April 15th board meeting. If we have it there, I think by March 24th or so. So I think we could have a special meeting virtually if you would want to pursue that option to actually make these changes and get that done. Just want to throw that out there so as you discuss.
Yeah.
Commissioner Woods, I move that we meet virtually to rediscuss our presentation to the board, and the date on the table is April 15th.
I believe that would be the date for the next board meeting that we could meet. If we have any differences, I'll let you know it whenever we meet. But that's the date I have.
So we have to get the presentation or get it on the agenda by March 24th.
We have to tell them that we want to even present them by March 24th, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to help cover that. Is that so? I will present that to the city manager, EOA, city attorney's office, as a desire that we would like this to go on the agenda, depending on all the different information that would be already on that agenda. Sometimes it gets bumped to the next or whatever that it may be. But Simone's right. There is a process. We would follow that process. And it sounds like you've already done the math, which is sometimes difficult to look at all the upcoming meetings. But, we'd say that is tentatively what we would be hopeful to get on, but it might slide another 2 weeks. But
Well, I say since spring break's the last week of March, I say we try to meet next week virtually. You guys just want to say the same time, that's Wednesday at noon? All those in favor of meeting next Wednesday at noon virtually, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, so we'll meet, if Mahogany can send out a link to meet next Wednesday at noon.
Can I ask a couple quick questions? I know this is an annual requirement that we're trying to meet this year, but there's not like a specific month that we were meant to hit.
Well, it's just,
Present that.
if we're doing a year in review in 2024, we probably need to do it sooner rather than later.
I mean, ideally, but we don't want to rush into it if we're not ready, right?
I don't think we're rushing into it. It's just, there's a lot. It's probably, it needs to be a separate discussion.
Okay. And my other question was for Simone, because we're starting to throw around a lot of quote meeting dates. Are all these going to apply to this memorandum from the bylaws? Are they all considered mandatory meetings that if you miss them, you start racking up consecutive misses? Just curious, because we're throwing around a lot of new dates to meet.
That attendance is regarding conducting business, and we're not conducting business at these site visits.
So I just want to make sure. So are you referring to the special meeting, the virtual special meeting, or the MacArthur Park visitation things in the April, July, and October?
Yes. Where we're approving, quote, approving these meeting dates. So that makes them sound official to me. And I'm just wondering if you see it the same way.
To my understanding, they are not meetings. We are not, it will not count against you. It is a special outing. If it's a meeting where we're conducting business, it would. But these are just special outings. And on that note, we did not have an official motion to vote on the meeting dates. And so I need that motion, please.
Someone motion, please.
Commissioner Woods moves that we have a virtual meeting on March 19th at noon to discuss our presentation to the board.
Sorry, I need a motion for the July park outings. Those dates, the April 24th, July 10th, and October 9th dates.
Okay. Commissioner Woods is moving that we meet 3 times this year on April 24th at MacArthur Park, July 10th at Southwest and West Central, at West Central, and then October 9th at Boyle Park.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Already.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay. Discuss the subcommittees. We already discussed that. Is there anything that? Not sure why it's on there. Okay, we've already discussed that. Simone, can you talk about the applications for commission vacancies? I know there is something that you saw that we have to recommend applicants. Is this saying that we have to go through each applicant live and vote on it or recommend? If so, I recommend we do that during our virtual meeting next Wednesday for the sake of time. Just can you provide some clarity on this?
One moment, let me pull up my bylaws real quick. But our bylaws basically say that our membership positions will be filled by the commission itself, and then the board of directors will approve. Other commissions, it's the other way around. So you guys are in a unique position. My understanding is that
It is now, apparently it wasn't.
you can discuss the candidates. I believe you already have the candidate packets. So you will discuss them, make your nominations, vote, and all of that. And I need to double check real quick if a special meeting can only be on one topic. And I believe a special meeting can only be on one topic, but I will double check.
Okay.
May I make a couple of comments? And I'm certainly not the authority, but I have been on the board I'm in my 9th year. And, when we go into executive session to appoint people to boards and commissions, I've never known that like the Parks Commission would make their recommendations. We all get a binder and basically the mayor makes the choice and then we approve or not approve. So this is a whole new system I've never even heard of. And I've liaised to some other boards and commissions, and that's never been the case. That an individual commission would review the applications and then I don't know, make a recommendation to the board or the mayor. It's just odd.
I'm willing to, I can meet with you offline to show you our bylaws where it says that.
I believe you. I just think we've never done that. I mean, we haven't done that in 9 years.
I can speak to that. We haven't done it. And when Simone got here, she pulled me to the side and said, this is a new process. And I said, okay, well, we need to go through it. And even Ben was asking me like, what is this process? And I said, let's discuss it at the meeting. So I think it's very fair that we have a healthy discussion about it.
Sure, yeah.
But you're right. We've never done it this way. So I'm learning as well.
So I'm suggesting this could have been something that was just never caught in the bylaws that were created prior to the new powers of the mayor.
Yes.
So these need to really be amended or changed to be, because when these were written, the city government operated differently.
Oh.
So I do not have the history of how and when each bylaw was amended. I can get that and make that. For any amendments that would or suggested amendments that would need to come from Leland. I can only follow the bylaws.
Yeah, I'm really just suggesting that I think that we need to get a little deeper into this before we.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. I will also say that our ordinance, also says the same. Our ordinance mirrors the bylaws. So it's there.
Maybe, can I say on that note, then maybe Simone and our board liaison, Cappy here, and myself could meet offline and discuss the bylaws and if they're appropriate or amendments need to be made.
Yes, we can. We'll just also need to note that we'll need to amend the ordinance if we're going, before we could amend the.
Or whatever.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me ask this. So I think there might be a concern here. So I don't want that to stagnate our commission. I want to make sure that we can meet hopefully as soon as possible to keep our process of bringing in new board members as needed. Okay.
All right, we're at 101. We got just a couple more. I think this is timely of discussing vote on extended meeting time. I don't know if you have any discussion. I brought this up past couple months. I would like to start the meeting at 11:45. It feels like every week, which is a good thing. We're overtime. And so if there's no discussion topics, can we get a motion to vote to change the meeting time to 11:45?
I move to change the meeting time to 11:45.
All those in favor?
Second.
Fine. I know. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Meeting will now start at 11:45, effective April 9th. So in your packets, coming from the bylaws, you have membership and the terms. And I think the one thing we want to talk about is attendance is kind of wanted to talk about the absenteeism and commission and removal, but there's a memorandum that was presented by Mahogany and Leland to the Little Rock Parks Commission that they printed out and sent to you guys via email, and which is now printed. It talks about Article 3, specifically the attendance. And it says when a member has missed more than 25% of the regular meetings in the calendar year or 3 consecutive regularly scheduled, the member is automatically removed from the commission. The commission shall certify to city manager that the member has missed the requested number requested member meetings. You guys can read it. I'm not gonna, you guys can read. So, but anyway, just, I wanted everyone to be aware of, the attendance policies for the commission. If you are removed, you do have a chance to be reinstated. You can submit a letter to the board of directors in writing prior to the next meeting if you would like to stay on the commission. So, any discussion or questions, opinions about this? But I think we just probably should do this every year and make sure everyone's aware of the attendance policy here.
I just have a question regarding vacancies or filled currently, what we were discussing prior, by the commission, but then if you're removed, you can petition the city board and not the Parks and Rec committee. It just sort of seems like a little, like there's, three-legged thing we're trying to figure out here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's written in the bylaws, so I don't.
The city board approves, right, in both situations.
Yeah.
So it still makes sense to me, but.
Gotcha.
Okay, any agenda items for next meeting that you guys want to talk about? Of course, we'll be meeting next Wednesday, talk about the presentation. Please email me changes, edits, similar to what Cannon did, so we can try to get it done in a timely manner. Mahogany, can you send out a link for, virtual link for next Wednesday, please? Thank you. Any other agenda items for next meeting?
And just to be clear, for master plan, meeting time's not going to change. We're just going to have to be a little bit more efficient. Does that sound good to y'all? Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry, yes, you can have multiple topics at your special meeting. So if those are the two you want, go ahead.
So for next Wednesday, we can talk about, well, I think Cappy and Leland and Simone are going to meet offline on the applications. Okay. So we'll for sure discuss the presentation next Wednesday. We might add another thing if we can. Okay. All right. Director Peck, do you have anything you want to say?
Well, I've already mentioned, Karen's mentioned Impact the Rock and then the fundraiser for Reservoir on May 21st. One last thing, litter is such a problem all over the city, especially in our parks. We had about 600 volunteers just this past Saturday. I led a group at Fush Creek and we made a lot of effort. Then, it's going to look the way it did in about a week from now that it did before the cleanup. But if you're interested in getting your kids involved, or if you've got high school kids that need volunteer hours, now all the libraries have litter pickup kits. They're free. You can check them out. All you have to do is have a library card, and it would include trash bags and gloves and litter picker-uppers. So that's kind of a fun a volunteer project for you and your family to consider. And if you're not involved in the Pick It Up campaign, which I'm leading, we are getting some momentum. And for those of you that have HOAs and POAs, if you could encourage your neighbors to adopt a street, that's been very impactful, and it's super easy to sign up. That's is operated out of our Public Works Department, and you can follow the link to adopt a street.
Okay.
Or a park, or a highway, or a flower bed, trails. You can pretty much adopt anything on that except maybe children.
Thank you. Anything else, Director Peck?
Nope.
Okay, Leland?
Just looking at the bottom there, talking about our next meeting, I think we overskipped under unfinished business our next meeting location. Mahogany, we're good to move, correct? Or we're gonna meet here next month? Okay, so we'll meet here next month, and our goal right now, unless the board decides otherwise, is that we're moving to City Hall to the boardroom. So it looks like we'll be doing that in 2 months. Okay, and anyway, I just wanted to provide that update. So we'll be, just to be clear, we'll be back here on April 9th. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good week, good month. We'll see you. Oh, have a good week. We'll see you next week virtually. Thank you all.